I say it all the time. In order to heal, you must reveal. I just had to own up to all of the bad decisions I was making and stop blaming them on external factors and truly look in the mirror and say, no, bro, like this is all you. This is all a result and a product of your thinking and limited thinking. And I think part of that was realizing that my environment was dictating my thoughts, actions, and emotions. And I needed to flip that. I needed my thoughts, actions, and emotions to create the environment that I wanted to see myself in and create the man that I wanted to become and the life that I wanted to live for myself. And I think the first step for that, right, in my process, my journey was therapy. I had resisted therapy for years, even though I had experience with therapy due to the abuse that I watched my mom go through. I just resisted it, man. A black man growing up in Los Angeles, it was kind of frowned upon. Like, you just deal with shit. You know what I mean? Excuse my language. And that's kind of how I did it. But like, it didn't work. It wasn't working. So therapy was the first step. The second step was like, I needed an addiction specialist that could truly help me like bunker down and like all things addiction. When I went to rehab, I was already making reservations to use before I even left. You know what I mean? And making reservations means like planning your relapse the entire time. This time, like I needed a specialist that one can prescribe me either Suboxone or what was the other thing? There's another drug that can help with withdrawals. But I was such a heavy user, my withdrawals nearly kill me. Like I'm talking about the worst form of withdrawals you've ever seen. So like I needed a specialist that can help me with Suboxone and then also help me understand the true nuances and like behaviors associated with addiction on all things addiction. That's where I started with those two steps. I think it evolved into something even more meaningful. And this is what I call mission-driven habits, right? Like I created a life contract around mission-driven habits, basically a system, a foundation of things that I execute on every single day that allow me to be like driven and fueled and pushed towards becoming the man that I aspire to be with like every, part of my soul. And those 4 habits, right? And I'll kind of break those down here in a second. It starts with a 4 a.m. wake up. And a lot of time people are like, man, you wake up at 4 a.m.? Like, like why? Like that just sounds excessive and crazy. It sounds like some Instagram stuff. And like for me, there's two benefits from it. Like one, you got to confront that voice. Like for me, it was the easiest way to stack a win and dominate that voice that was keeping me trapped in hell. Every time my alarm goes off at 4:00 in the morning, my voice is saying, don't get up, bro. Let's wake up tomorrow. Like it's cold out of the bed. You know what I mean? Like it's so much easier. Hit snooze. And like that was the first step in me being able to dominate that voice and get my butt up when I know the rest of the world is asleep and comfortable in their bed. So that was the first piece. The second step in my like mission-driven habit is meditation, which is ironic because I made fun of meditation for years. I'm like, man, I'm not meditating. Some of my mentors are like extremely successful in tech and beyond. They all meditate. And like, I never considered it until I was desperate. And now it's a non-negotiable habit in my day. The third thing, and to me, one of the most important things is reading. Man, I read like a madman. Like I didn't even realize that I was an avid reader until I started reading the right material. And I read all things from like memoirs to personal development and self-help. I read 2 to 3 books a month, and it's just part of my daily routine. Most of the time it's audible. Sometimes it's like paperback, so I can like mark up the book and like obviously dive deep. But like my habit is pushing play, listening to the book, and priming myself for the day. And then the last step is working out. And for me, working out is extremely therapeutic. 2 things come out of working out, right? One is you start to look at yourself with pride again. Like I was a guy, a grown man who would go to the bathroom in the dark to avoid the mirror.
Right.
Like that's how bad I looked. I was 50 pounds overweight, face looking all torn up from the drugs and the alcohol. And like my skin is a reflection of my lifestyle, right? So like I just looked terrible. So like fitness obviously helped me gain like a sense of confidence back and pride. But the other thing that it does is, again, it allows me to dominate that voice. We got to dominate the voice that says, don't work out today, work out tomorrow, right? The voice that says, you're too tired today. I never want to work out. So that voice is there every day. The second place where that voice pops up is halfway through the workout. Every single time that voice is like, all right, bro, hang it up. You've done enough. Look at your arms. Like, you can see the vein. Let's dip. And I'm like, no, like, this is what we said we're going to do today. And we're not bouncing until it's done. Right. So, I know I kind of went deep there, but like for me, those mission driven habits allow me to restore like purpose and discipline. But most importantly, I call it win stacking. It allows me to stack 4 wins every single day, no matter what's going on in my marriage, no matter what's going on at work. I know if I hit these habits, I could win the day, and that could fuel me into every other area of my life with the right energy and like the leader that I need to be for my company and my wife. Man.